So today it's, oh, okay, recording in progress. Okay, yeah, thank you for making me more nervous. Anyway, so for the session of business communication, today we will kind of see how we can write and speak with precision to capture our leads' attention in an information overloaded world. So to simplify it, basically, like how can you create your message best in order to reach the attention of any kind of partners or any kind of corporates that you're reaching out to. All right. So just to give a bit of background on myself, my name is Michelle Lee. I started Isaac in 2013. Probably most of you were still in school at that time, not even finished your SPM, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you can also like type in the chat how old you were. Although, this question doesn't always make me feel good. But wow, Form 1? God, how old are you? Oh my God, 12? Okay, there's someone PMR, at least. Okay, I feel better a bit lah. Anyways, I think that time I was already like second year in university in 2013. So if you want to count my age, you can count backwards lah from there. All right, and then my last role in Isaac was around like 2018. So I started 2013 as a junior executive of OGX, Outgoing Exchange in Isaac in Sunway. Any Sunway people here? Yay! Although I'm not from Sunway, I'm from Monash. So that was for the OGX team. That was the first ever OGX department that was established in Isaac in Sunway, and I was part of the first recruitment for the OGX team. So I started my roles there. And my first few roles were more on like marketing side, doing on the EPRD, the EP recruitment drive, or you call it what penetration?
Market penetration, attraction.
Well, yeah, okay, attraction, basically. So that's kind of where I started my sales and also like business and communication journey, because the Michelle in this picture over here at the moment that you see here is actually a person who is very, very shy. I almost didn't pass my interview because I couldn't speak in the group assessment. So starting from there is when I learned how to communicate in different settings, especially towards externals. And then I worked on being the VP marketing for Yeah Summit, which was a collaboration between Isaac and Sunway and Isaac TU at that time. So it was kind of like a forum, like Youth Speak forum that we established. So I was working on marketing there, doing some of the sales on that side. And our campus EPRD, and then working on one of the IGV projects as well for Isaac and Sunway. Then 2014, 2015, I applied to be director for P-Box project based on the exchange. I think you call it something right now. I don't know, cannot keep up with all the terms. Yeah, and that was one of the most meaningful projects that I've worked on at that time. I'll share a little bit more later. And then 2015, 2016, I was LCP for Isaac in Sunway. 2016, 2017, I was MCVP B2C marketing for Isaac in Malaysia. And then in 2017, I went to Isaac in New Zealand to help out for marketing and OGV in New Zealand. And then 2018, I was the OCP for Isaac in Malaysia 50 and also like Isaac in Malaysia Awards Nights 2018. So if you were in the later events, then you might have seen me, but I doubt so. Yeah, so yeah, anyways, too much about myself. Let me talk even more about myself. So currently, after leaving Isaac full-time, I also, of course, I started working. I need money, real life. And I started as a program and partnerships coordinator with Impact Hub Kuala Lumpur, which worked on more on like social enterprises and different accelerators working with startups. 2018, 2019, I co-founded a social enterprise called Kerja with my other like Isaac co-founders as well. And we worked on providing career opportunities towards marginalized people in Malaysia. But unfortunately, due to some issues, the social enterprise didn't work out. And then since 2019 until now, I've been working more on business development for a company startup called paper and toast. So we do co-working space, and we also do different programs and also like corporate innovation as well. So the people that I talk to mostly are from bigger brands, bigger corporates, conglomerates, and also startups and entrepreneurs as well. So a wide range of people. And then I'm also a partnerships manager for Seed Stars, which is an European accelerator and also like a VC. So I help to manage like any kind of like relationships with in Malaysia, bring in different mentors and also match startups to European mentors as well. And currently I'm part of one of this is all under the same company, by the way. I'm not working 3 different jobs at the same time, but it's just different kinds of roles. Okay, just to let you know. So like we're also developing a new platform, which is more of a online school called Fuller Academy, and I'm leading on the business development side of things. Yeah, so these are just like kind of some of the roles that I'm working on right now. And just to go back in time again to how my interest in partnerships and talking to people, or how did I learn some of the skills and experiences from partnerships, actually started with one of the projects that I worked on, which I mentioned was like quite meaningful at that time. For Isaac and Sunway, we had a project called the Urban Mapper Project that we pitched together and we created together with UNDP Malaysia. So I think that time was, sorry, what year was it? Cannot go back. I think it was 2014 or 2014. And you know, me and my what do you call it, VP at that time, when I was a director, me and my VP, we went to UNDP's office, and then we had a chat with them and then talked about like, you know, what are some of the things that they're working on, and then like, how can Isaac, how can IGB help and create a project around what they're currently doing. So through those discussions, we managed to create a project, and it ran actually for I think 2 or 3 years consecutively. And I think that was one of the most meaningful and most challenging experiences in terms of like communicating with externals, creating partnerships that I've had throughout my Isaac journey, although it was one of the first experiences that I've had. So like imagine sitting like in a boardroom together with experts in the UN who have worked, you know, on certain areas of topics. The one that we're working on was more on like poverty, children's poverty and nutrition, and sitting in like, you know, just a bunch of students, as you can see here, with our EPs as well, like sitting in the boardroom and then talking to them on like what are the findings of the project, how can we make this more impactful for the next batch as well, and then and also what impact can we create in the long term together with UNDP. I think those were some of the conversations that we were having at that time. And yeah, I think it is, sorry if it's a bit noisy, there are some things going on here. Hope you can hear me clearly. I think like that was one of the beginnings of the journey where I learned a lot in terms of how do you communicate with, you know, people who are so many years of your senior, people who are subject matter experts in different areas. And in this one is like poverty. And then how can you as an individual representing Isaac, representing an organization, representing your LC, meet their needs and then create something together with them. I think that was, you know, one of the key points and key takeaways that I got out from there. So just a question like before we start as well, like how has your experience communicating with externals been? Like, has it been like positive? Is it, you know, challenging, or have you not started anything yet? You know, feel free to mention also. Anxious, fluctuating, challenging for sure. Maybe you can share like also like what makes you anxious, or what are some of the challenging parts as well. Slow response. Okay. Okay, I think a lot of you are saying like slow responses, right? Yeah, I think it's very normal. And it's also normal to be anxious because we know that they have more experience than you. I think even now today, when I talk to some of the big companies as well, I will feel, not even just the big companies, but people who are expert in different areas, it does make me nervous because it feels like, you know, I don't know that much. But then also to remember, like, that's the reason why you're engaging with them, right? Because they know more than you and you need the expertise. I'm too informal. Okay, we'll get to that. Oh shit. Okay. So yeah. So as part of the 7 stages of the sales cycle, this is just something. There are different theories and there are different models to sales cycle, but I'm just using this one because it is the first one that I found on Google, to be honest, and it also looks nice when I copy and paste it in my slide. But no, it breaks it down in a very like easy to understand way as well. So sales, right? When we're talking about sales, we're also talking about partnerships. We're also talking about any kind of collaborations that you want to make. It's not just in terms of selling a product, all right? Just to take in mind when we're going through this session. So I'll just quickly take you through this whole cycle. So starting from like prospecting. So prospecting is where we start seeing who do you want to approach. So let's say you want to approach Michelle. Then you write down her name and then you go through like her LinkedIn and then you see whether she is suitable for whatever partnership that you want to create. And then next you make contact. I think you know this, like through email, through LinkedIn, through calls or anything. And then after you make contact, you qualify a prospect. This one is very important because this is where you kind of first determine whether or not to take the conversation forward together with them, because then you will see like whether they are a suitable prospect after you make contact with them. Because through the first contact, there might be some kind of feedback that you get from them that that this is not suitable time, or their budget, they are not interested in this, or you feel like their vision completely doesn't align, or maybe they are the wrong prospect to begin with. Then that's where you start to kind of filter your prospect. And then if they pass the stage of qualification, then they go into nurturing. So this is where you follow up, and this is where you try to get that opportunity to pitch or to share more about your collaboration, your partnership, your product. And then next, you present your offer. This usually comes in a presentation or a pitch. And that's where you share like all the details and everything. And then next stage will be more on the deliberation stage, where you have to overcome certain objections. Any kind of negotiations will come in this stage as well. And then after that, if everything is successful, then you will close the sale. Okay, so just to keep in mind, like this cycle you don't always complete the cycle. So coming from years of experience of like reaching out to externals, a lot of times it even just stops at making contact. A lot of them don't reply, right? I think a lot of you also mentioned like slow response and everything. Sometimes it just doesn't follow through, or it can also drop at any part of the sales cycle. Even after you present the offer, they are not interested, or they just don't get back to you, for example. But you can always restart your cycle at any point of given time as well, through any kind of nudges or follow-ups. Okay, so this is just like a very brief overview of sales cycle. I'm losing my voice. Too long never present. Okay, so I think just a few like simple things to keep in mind, right, when you're approaching with externals. Like maybe not why are you selling this product, but why are you talking to them about this product or this partnership or this collaboration? Okay, just to keep in mind on that, because you yourself, you need to understand what exactly you are here for. What is the product? What is the service? What is the collaboration? What is the event? If it's like You Speak Forum, or what is the initiative that you are trying to get a partnership for, a collaboration for? Oh my God, sorry. I swear I do this for a living, okay? It's not fake, it's just my voice. Second is that you need to understand the unique selling points of your product, okay? What is the thing that makes your product stand out? Why should they come to you for this product or service, etc.? And then lastly, on why, understand like what is the impact that your product can create. Okay, so for us, as an example, when we went to UNDP all those years back, if I can remember correctly, like we definitely came to them with an agenda that we want to get them on board as a partner or sponsor for IGV. But I think like in the bigger picture, we wanted to create a project with them, because at that time it was a P-Box project based on exchange. So we went there in the mind that, we understand like how P-Box works. We know that we want to bring EPs in. So how can we help to create something together with UNDP? So in that sense, before pitching to them, we also need to understand like why are we approaching the customer or the prospect. So in this case, it was like on UNDP. So first, we need to understand the profile of the customer. We also need to understand the nature of the customer's organization and also understand the impact that the customer seeks to create. So for us, when we were going to UNDP, right, we understood, of course, I mean, we know the United Nations and what they do in general. We know about SDGs. At that time was still like MDGs. Yeah, that shows how long ago it was. So we had to go and do like a bit of research in terms of UNDP UNDPs around the world. Each UNDP have different agendas. So same with any kind of like corporates that you are approaching or any kind of companies that you're talking to. Each of the different, let's say for Unilever, for example, they have different mandates. They have different operations and different ways of doing things, different company structure as well. In different countries that they're in. So understand that, and also understand like what is the role of the person that you're approaching, what are they actually doing. So for the person that we approached, he was actually working on more on research of poverty for UNDP. So he's doing more profiling on that. So our proposal was directly on, how can we create a project that creates impact or creates a difference in lives of the marginalized people. So when you have the profile of the customer, you'll be able to understand like what are their interests and what are their immediate needs in terms of what are the roles that they need to do in their organization. So you will be trying to match that and trying to help that. All right. And then, yeah. So with that, you'll be able to see like, why are you approaching this customer with this product and why not another customer and why not another product? For Isaac, we have a lot of different products, right? We have IGV, we have IGT, we have USpeak as well. Last time we have even more. So why are you exactly approaching this customer with this product? So first, like understand like how does your product meet the needs of the customer? If we were to approach, let's say UNDP with IGT, maybe it wouldn't make as much sense as it was with IGV, for example. Okay. And then like, why does your product do better than other options that the customer has? So this is where your unique selling point comes. This is where your unique value proposition comes in. There are a lot of other youth organizations out there. There are a lot of volunteer organizations out there. What makes your product special than other products that other organizations are offering? And third, how can this product help to meet the impact that the customer seeks to achieve? Because at the end of the day, we are impact-driven. We are an impact-driven organization. Isaac is an impact-driven organization, and for companies as well, they want to achieve impact. But maybe not exactly in the same way. Maybe it's through productivity, maybe it's through profit, or maybe if you're engaging with their sustainability department, then maybe it's on different categories of sustainability, whether it's on social, environmental, etc., etc. Okay, so you need to fully understand exactly how can you match the needs of your organization versus Isaac or your product together with the customer as well. Okay, so just to put that into a diagram, I think you've seen this yesterday, right? In one of the sessions yesterday, the value proposition canvas. Basically everything, all the questions that I asked just now is basically here in terms of what are the products and the services that you have, what are the gain creators and the pain relievers as well. And then on the customer job side, what are some of the gains that they might experience and what are the pains they might experience and how you can match that together. I think in terms of like the pain relievers, when we went to UNDP at the earlier stage, it was to relieve the pain that they wanted to create an impact that was more on ground at that time, because that was something they want to create in the short term. But then as the conversation went along, it became more of a vitamin instead of just a pain reliever. Like you take Panadol, right? Pain reliever is Panadol that you take when you have a headache, but you take vitamin as a supplement. So as conversations go along, ideally you would want to transform your product or your service into more of a vitamin that can be a long-term solution towards your customer. Yeah, but your first approach should be more on a pain reliever side. Okay, so just to give like a very simple example, okay, let's say that you are sending a ball, all right, a basketball, Who do you think your customer is? Someone say drink water. Later lah. Okay, basketball players, ball players, schools. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked you this question. What if it's a kid? What if the kid wants to play a ball? Street kids. It's very specific. Smart people. Okay. Thank you for your answers. I think I shouldn't have asked you because I already had an answer in mind. That's a very, rude thing to do. Okay, so the person that I had in mind to play the ball was actually a kid, okay? But then I wanted you to say like the answer is kid, and then I would say, no, that's wrong because like the parents will be the one that is buying the ball, not the kid, right? The kid doesn't have the purchasing power. So I think, yeah, but all your answers are definitely very valid. So first thing I think very important is to understand who exactly is your customer. When you're approaching for an organization, you will approach on LinkedIn, if you search like a certain organization, there's a lot of people, right? But then who exactly is the right person? Who is the right decision maker that you can talk to? If you talk to a kid to sell basketball, he will be interested, but then he won't have money to buy it, right? So the person that will make the decision and the person that you will need to convince is actually the parents. So the customer's jobs and the gains and the pains that you need to understand is on the parent side, not the kid. Okay. So an example of the customer job of a parent is like taking care of the kid, feeding the kid, entertaining the kid, and among like other parenting stuff that they do. Some of the gains that they experience on a day-to-day basis is like happiness, joy, sense of achievement, sense of pride, and maybe some of the pains that they experience is on exhaustion, disappointment, and no personal time. And what the ball can offer is, on exercise, on bonding as one of the gains. And then some of the pain relievers is that it helps to relieve boredom and also helps to, give a little bit of fun for both the parents and also for the kid. So if you were to sell a basketball to the parents, this would be some of the, the value propositions that you would start to talk about more and emphasize more in conversations with the parents. Okay. All right, before I go to the next part, is there any questions? Because I can't really see you. Is it okay so far? If it's okay so far, can you say okay somewhere in the chat?
Okay.
Oh, got voice. That mini. Okay, cool for me. Good, thank you. All right, so just to go next part into some real scenarios. All right, I'm not going to go to any like Isaac examples, but I'll go to an example that I experience on a day-to-day basis. Because my role is in business development, right? Almost forgot my role. So like I would approach people for certain partnerships and collaborations, and people would also approach me for partnerships and collaborations. And this is okay, just to show you, this is how my inbox looks like at the moment. I think over the past few days there has been a little bit of increase as well. So currently it is at total of 7,701 over the past 2.5 years I've been working at this company. And then total inbox unread 4,996. So if you haven't, sorry. So if you haven't, if you have actually sent me an email, I probably somewhere under the unread or one of the read. So like this is how much emails that I receive on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, maybe average around like 10 to 20, 30 maybe if you don't count the weekends. Yeah, but there's also like different things like socials and promotions as well, because there are like news that I need to keep updated to, events that ecosystem events that I need to keep updated as well. So I think for a corporate or any kind of adult, oh my God, I can't believe I'm using a word, in an adult or working adult, like this is kind of the typical inbox that you would see. Of course, it varies from different kind of companies. Mine is more of a smaller company and I take over like different kinds of roles. Maybe that's why my inbox is a lot more fuller. but maybe for some others, it's kind of similar as well, where there's a lot of like different unread emails, especially if there's a lot of incoming messages and incoming emails, partnerships that people want to talk to you. This is what it will look like. So the question is like, now you understand the basics, right? Of like, how can you communicate, how you can create a value proposition, how can you deliver that value proposition to your potential customer. But your first contact point is, is the most vital, right? If not, you won't even be able to sell or talk to them about any of the value proposition that you have, right? So how do you actually gain the attention, or how do you attract the attention of someone's inbox who looks, like this? I'm glad I didn't screenshot the whole thing, but I think you can kind of guess how it would look like. So I'll give you an example of a sales email that came in. So this one is really sales email. It's not a partnership, it's not collaboration or anything, but it's basically a person trying to sell a product. All right. So this person, his name is Igor, and he's from Cards, and he's trying to sell me this. I actually don't really know what he's trying to sell. This like co-working space product, software product, something like that he's trying to sell me. Okay. So he sends me this email. You can take like a minute or two to read it, and then you can tell me like, if you have any comments on the email. If you haven't, yeah, just you can write it in the chat after you've read it. Or if you think it's a good email, you can also say that as well. What do you mean by greetings? Yen Mei.
Or as like a good afternoon or something, that would be nice.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else have any like kind of comments on this? What's IGTM? Oh, you young people and your slang words. Okay. It's not too wordy, straight to the point, but I don't get a key message. Flow of content looks unorganized. Okay. Yeah. So just to go through like some key points. I actually did not click on this email until he sent me, I think like the third or fourth follow-up email, which I will also show you later, because he kind of, made me interested by the fourth email. I will show you. Okay, so just some comments from me. First part is like on the email subject line. He wrote "and cards," whatever that is, like "and paper and toast" or whatever. How, like, do you know what "and cards" is? Does anyone know what "and cards" is? Because I don't, right? So like when this pops up in the email, I wouldn't know what their company does. I've never heard of them unless, they're Tesla or they're Amazon, then, maybe I'll click on it immediately or something. Especially when it comes in your phone. I think like for a lot of us, we have our Gmail in our phone, right? And then the notification pops up. The first thing that you will see is the email subject line. So that's what I saw first. And so I don't even know what the company does. And the email is not attractive at all to me. It doesn't make me want to click it. So eventually I forgot about it and then it got buried in my emails. So if you're doing, if you're sending a first email, try to elaborate a little bit more in terms of what your company does, what Isaac does, because not everybody knows what Isaac is. Even worse, if you write like, seeking for partnership for IGV project, for example, people will know what is IGV even more. Yeah. And then next part would be on this side where he's saying like running a co-working space is challenging. Do you experience operational efficiencies and hassles leading to unhappy customers and lost time? I understand like he's trying to ask in terms of like, or trying to find like the pains that I'm experiencing. But I think there's also like a bit of like negative assumption in terms of the things that I'm experiencing as well, which kind of puts me off personally. This is just like very nitpicking, right? And then on the next part, there's also like he wrote about, they chose us because we enable amazing service for members and etc. With all the good reviews and everything. But the thing is, like, he didn't mention anywhere that on what they exactly do or what are they providing. They just directly went into like full pitch mode and sales mode that, they are better than everyone, but I don't even know what you do. It's like you're trying to sell. Yeah, I don't know. Cannot give another example now. Anyways, so this was the email that I actually clicked because I saw the first line on my phone notifications. It said like, "Hi Michelle, it's a shame that you chose to ignore me since all I wanted for you is to join blah, 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 blah." And I felt so offended at that email. So if you, this is like a month after the first email that I actually opened his email up. And again, like same of the different areas. Like first is that opening line was so shameful. It just elicits like kind of like a negative response from me. I don't think that probably out of all his customers that he approached, I don't think I'm the only one that experienced that. Because he's just saying, he's just being rude and he's just trying to say like, his product is superior. And then the next part is kind of like just assuming like what are some of the challenges that we are experiencing right now. And also like, if we are not taking his product, that, we're not being innovative and we're not, we're not making our assets happy, which is not true. And, sorry, if you want to read the email, you can read it later in the slides. I can't press back. I don't know why. Anyways, so just a conclusion like from those two emails that I showed you is that the first impression is the most lasting impression that you will make. From that experience with Igor, I actually wanted to send him like a very long email saying like, you're rude and I don't want to ever engage with you ever again. I think I blocked him. Yeah, I blocked him. So that is like the last impression that I want to see from him. So that kind of shows like how important your first impression would be. Although I believe like none of you here would actually do that. But just to point out like some different areas on how bad a sales email could be. Although this is definitely not the worst, but it's one of the rudest emails that I've seen. Okay. So just to go through some pointers on like how to do that first approach, right? Whether it's, I think a lot of people use LinkedIn as their first approach now, and also like on email. Words and context matter a lot, all right? This is what I tell my team a lot as well, is that, people don't know your product names, they don't know your event names, they don't know your initiative names. So tell them a bit more. Okay, provide them with some context on what it exactly is. IGV, IGT, last time in IGCDP, PBox, USpeak, EWA, local volunteer, all these kind of things. Like it doesn't mean anything to externals. Even if they're an ISACer, try not to, even if you know that they're an ISACer, still explain it because like over the years, things change as well. And in terms of like choosing your words wisely, a change of a few words can change the entire meaning of your message. Like for Igor's email, for example, like if he would have changed a few words, not using words like, it's a shame that you chose to ignore me, these kind of things, then it would change the entire context. It would change the entire vibe. The young people like to use the word vibe of the email, right? Mini, don't laugh at me. Okay, so so for an example, right, as an email opening, like introduction to Isaac IGV program versus like create an impact with international volunteers. So try to use the context of what Isaac IGV is, and then take those words out and then create a sentence that anyone can understand. Whether it's in your email title or whether it's in any parts of your email, try to simplify your product as much as possible. If your parents can understand it, then I think you're good to go. Or your brother or your sister. that is not an exact. Okay. Next, definitely email subject line matters. Try to include your purpose or impact as part of the email subject line, because that is the first hook that people will see. If it's not interesting, if it doesn't pop up, if it doesn't catch their attention the moment that the notification comes in, or the moment that they're on the first page of the inbox, not even the first page, like the first half of the inbox, it's most likely that they will forget about your email after that. So of course, you can do follow-ups and everything, but you only have one chance for the email subject line. Okay, so these are some of the subject lines that I use at work. So like this was for a mentorship program. This is to startups that I put in capital, like exclusive invitation, so that they know it's something that is exclusive. They know SeedStars. Most of the startups know SeedStars. They know it's a mentorship. They want mentorship. It is something that creates benefit to them. So a lot of people will click on it and open it. Next, this is more for me inviting academicians to collaborate for sustainability knowledge content. So I could have written like the company name or the initiative name, the platform name that I have, which is like Fuller Academy here, but then nobody knows what is Fuller Academy. It's something new, right? So instead of that, I laid it out like exactly what do I want to create with them. And then if they're interested, then they will click on it. And then another one, which is quite a mouthful, and it's quite long, which I don't recommend, but it was the best that we can do at the time, is like connecting to you on the leading ASEAN plastic packaging circular economy innovation program. So the program was actually very short. The name is called INTAC. But again, like nobody will know what is INTAC. So we broke it down to exactly what it is, because it was a innovation program, a hackathon on plastic packaging circular economy. So we literally wrote that as part of the email headline. And then on the last part, it was more towards like connecting them to an agency that is the largest Facebook page in Malaysia. And this was more talking about advertising. So for the marketing people that we were talking to, we understood like, they definitely want to advertise on bigger social platforms. And then therefore, that's why we created this email headline that was saying like, get connected with the largest Facebook page in Malaysia, which was more exciting. It's very enticing for them on how they can actually advertise on the largest platform in Malaysia. Okay. Sorry if it's a bit confusing. Just wanted to give you a few different examples. Yeah, so include your value proposition and communicate like what your unique value proposition is and how it can bring benefit to your customer. Okay, and of course, like, do not degrade your customer. So this is basically the value proposition canvas that we talked about. But definitely don't think that your product is superior to them or to anyone, to other products out there. But try to focus on how you can create value together with this customer to create a bigger impact. Okay, so for the example that I will give, it will be more towards the last email headline just now, which is on the largest Facebook page in Malaysia, selling on advertising space. So like the email content that we wrote was like, I'm reaching out to see if X is a company would be interested to explore on potentially running a campaign through our platform. Currently, we have the highest numbers of followers amongst the mass Malay market on Facebook with 6.3 million followers. Believe that the value of X, which is the company, is something that resonates closely with our followers. So even though it's like a very general email, but it already has kind of created some kind of connection with the company and also with what is the potential impact that can be created through through advertising on this Facebook platform. Okay, you'll see a bit more later. And then I think this, yeah, it's the last one. Always include a call to action on what is the next step if they are actually interested. This is very important. Either book a call, either schedule a next meeting or something like that. So what we wrote was like, if it would be great if we could arrange for an introduction catch up for us to share more on what we have to offer, and at the same time get a chance to understand better of your campaign direction to see whether there's any chance of our service could complement your future campaign. So always make it kind of like a win-win, and also always make it more of a conversation. Never make it like just a one-way sales pitch that you want to share about your product, but always seek to understand what is your potential customers' needs, what is the impact that they want to create, and then how can you match that in the end. All right. Okay. And also remember that, you know, your first impression is not the last impression that you would make. Unfortunately, you know, Igor, he did not make it past the first impression, but I think that most of you will be fortunate enough to continue the sales cycle, right? So past the first contact, like there are many different areas of contact that you would need to kind of utilize your business communication skills or external communication skills in order to close the sale or close the deal or form the partnerships that you want. So just remember that it is not just about writing emails that capture your prospect's attention, but it's also like how can you embed your understanding about your product, your understanding about your customers' needs, and together, like what is the value proposition that you can give to your customer throughout all these different touch points together with them until you close the sale. Even after that, you have like post sales as well. All these kind of things, customer service is very important. Okay. Yeah, understand what you're selling, understand the customer, and understand how what you're selling can benefit the customer. I think that is like the bottom line. So, okay, so we're going to the next part, which is more of an activity. Okay, later you will be broken into different groups. And what I want you to do is to create a team name. And I will share some scenarios, and each team can choose up to 2 scenarios within the scenarios that I give you. And you can put down your group name next to it. And then through 20 minutes, I want all of you to discuss and come up with solutions for both scenarios within that amount of time. Okay. Let me, how do I do this? Sorry, can I stop sharing first? Yeah. Do you guys have teams already or not yet?
They wouldn't know yet because after they get into the group, then they will see who is in it.
Okay, can. Let me just send the sheet here. Okay, everyone I think can open it. So it's a sheet with all the different scenarios in there. On the so many animals, unknown animals. So on the first sheet is the company. Okay, so I've given you a list of like different companies that are available. You can also add in any companies that you want. So for each group, after you have chosen your group name, whatever, you can write down your name next to the company that you want. If the company that you want is not there, feel free to just add it in. And then after you have done that, you can go to the scenario tab where you can choose up to 2 scenarios and write your group name next to it. Okay, so through the scenarios, there are actually different areas that is kind of together with the sales cycle. So from discovery, elevator pitch, product demo, objection handling, any kind of negotiation, competition, and customer storytelling as well. So later you can go through that. If you have any questions, you can just let me know. I can explain a bit further. But yeah, so at the end of the 20 minutes, we will come back here and I will pick a few of you to share what are some of your solutions to the scenarios that you have. Okay, is that clear? Cool. All right, I think Minnie, you can break them.
Okay, are they going to put their group name in the spreadsheet? If yes, then I think we need the edit access.
I thought, okay. Oh, it's just view.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, you can refresh.
Then I will send them to the
Okay, everyone is back almost. Okay, I tied up my hair because, you know, as I was visiting all your different breakout rooms, like all your conversations is, you know, a bit too hot. So just had to, kidding, too lame. Cannot laugh with these young people. Anyways, all right. So thank you all for participating in the scenarios. I think that, you know, all of you were having like pretty good, intense discussions as well for some of you. Maybe we can, okay, somebody said haha. Oh, Nafisa, thank you. Okay, so maybe if we can have like a few people to share on what are, you know, the scenarios that you work on, and then what are the scenarios, the solutions that you came up with. Can I have some volunteers before I pick you? I have the list. That's why I asked you to write the group names. Anyone would like to go? What is AHU? Last time don't have one.
Isaac Health University. Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Hi, I'm Yunbi, and I'm from here. What? And hi, Tisha and everyone. Okay. Yeah. So I will represent Phoenix. And okay, actually, okay, Chen Hua, I think I may need you to help us with the IGB part, but for the AWA part, yeah, I'll present. Maybe I can share screen. Okay. So actually the question, okay, the company we pick is actually Singheng, the, you know, the electrical appliance company. And then like the thing that we choose is actually, okay, what is it? Competition. So what is the question is actually like there are so many other organizations out there and events approaching like for that particular company for sponsorship and engagement. So how does Isaac stands out? So actually we split it into like 3 value propositions. Like first is actually the talent pool. So the first one we put it in Isaac membership. So our Isaac members, it consists of people from various backgrounds, and what we are different is actually we have like local chapters across universities in Malaysia, where actually like maybe some other student organization like ICMS, although like they are quite strong, but they do not have like a local chapter in each university. So actually the outreach will be smaller, but for us is because we have a base in a particular university and at the community, so the reach will be higher. And because we have people from different talent pool, right? So actually we can provide talent pool that actually suits Singheng's needs. Like for some people, like maybe in Johor, we have UTP where they specialize in engineering. So if Singheng needs people like, you know, from the electrical engineering, I don't know, then we can provide them. So yeah, and then so can have good talent engagement. And another thing is in Isaac, we don't just have Isaac membership, we also have our customer pool with different kind of projects, right? And one thing different about our customer is that actually we have quality customers. The reason is because before they join our project, they sometimes also have to go through like an interview, right? And normally our projects is like 1 month longer or longer than that. So so that's why it actually shows that our customer is quality in a way that they portray like leadership values, like, you know, resilience, ownership, and maybe innovative kind of stuff. So actually it separates us differently from other, you know, organizations out there. And with this type of quality that we have in our membership and our customer, it actually we can provide quality talents to the company. And actually for Isaac is we have good branding. So first is we are the world largest youth-led organization. So when people heard of world largest, then it's a bit different already. Yeah, it's the same as when you heard of Apple and maybe heard of maybe Yes phone in Malaysia. Like there's difference. And because of this, we are actually established. Yeah, and established is quite important. And another thing is actually we Isaac is we develop we come up with quality projects and products. So we ensure that everything, you know, we execute our events and projects by referring to a model. It's called like the leadership development model. And inside it actually consists of like those standards and satisfaction for our partners and our customers. And it also includes something like inner and outer journey, where I think externals will not know about this. Is actually about it's like there's a lot of components inside which actually will provide a good customer experience for our customers. So yeah, it's helpful, and also include things like the leadership quality. So with all these standards and and these tools for facilitation, right, we actually come out with quality projects. So actually if you partner with us, we'll ensure that we follow all the standards and things won't really go wrong, because we already have like a framework, right, and structure, right? So it's better than no framework like that. So this is for A1. Then I'll pass to IGV for maybe Chun Huat or Sorry.
Okay, thanks, Shinji. Okay, I feel a bit scared right now because of that amazing presentation right now. One thing to admit is that I don't think these are pains. I think these are the gains that Senting wants. So just to point that out, because I don't really have enough time to analyze what the pains are, but I did manage to get some information out. So from what I get is that they want to hit 5,000 employees by 2030. So how does IGB solve their pain is that by being our partner, they'll be able to have access to our youth network, which is the volunteers. It may seem little year by year, but as it adds up, they will slowly build a network of youth for who might be interested to join Senting, and not only the youth, but also the beneficiaries that we are targeting also. And then hard to differentiate themselves from other electrical companies in Malaysia apart from price. So this one, they can really make themselves stand out by by having a CSR opportunity with us. Like they can say that, hey, maybe Price doesn't have this CSR opportunity, but we are actually helping students to provide them laptops. So this will make their brand more credible and then also more trustable by their customers as well. And then also they want to share and care 5,000 SMEs in Malaysia. That one is a bit hard even for an MNC like them, because so that they can utilize our network of companies, because we not only reach out to SMEs, we not only reach out to MNCs, but we also reach out to SMEs as well to become our partners. So they can reach out to various SMEs throughout Malaysia and connect with them to really help reach their organizational goal that they hope to achieve. And then they also want to contribute 100 million in tax. So by doing CSR with us, although yes, CSR helps in tax exemption, which contradicts a bit with the point, but by doing CSR, you will also attract more investors to invest in your companies as well. Like imagine that you are telling your investors that, hey, I'm not only doing CSR in this part of Malaysia, but I'm doing it across the whole Malaysia, right? Maybe they sponsor laptop to Sabah, to East Malaysia, and then maybe to Johor, and then maybe to KL. Yeah, all this kind of stuff. So this one will make their impact seem larger, and then this will attract more investors to invest. So more investors equals to more revenue gain, and also more customers. And then also this is one of their visions that they are trying to create, is to have better quality living. They want to improve the qualities of the living of the people around them. So one thing that we can say is that there are a lot of rural areas in East Malaysia, because we have LCs in East Malaysia. So these rural areas, they really need help from these companies to actually help them to have a better life. So by reaching out to us, they can actually utilize this platform to reach out to the East Malaysia rural areas, and then they can help expand their footprint to more people throughout the touch point with the families as well, which is our target beneficiaries. And then also the last one is understand trends of customers. Yeah, this is also in their CEO statement as well. Yeah, so they can really utilize our network of youth to get insights on how their families think about Senting, and what are the main the most used electrical appliances, or what electrical appliances they want like promotion or something. Yeah, so they can make tailor-made promotions to attract these customers. Yeah, that's all from us. Thank you. Yeah, it's a bit long. Sorry.
No. I think it's good. Very impressive that you managed to do this in such a short amount of time. I really like the thorough research that you managed to do on Senting, and then like how can the products actually complement them. Yeah, I think it's really good. I think another thing also when you're doing kind of like qualifying your leads as well, is to also look at maybe the key decision maker, or the kind of the face of the company. So the face of the company for Senting, there's actually the CEO, or I think he's more of like a chairman kind of person. And I think recently I've also read that he is currently into like digitalization, and then like talking a lot about their brand, how they've grown for the last few years, and how they innovate as well. So maybe if you can also like integrate like a part of innovation, if they partner with Isaac, they'll be seen as, this kind of like very forward thinking organization. That's how they can brand and position themselves. Then I think it would also help with the decision making as well when you're talking to them, to stand out as part of the competition. Yeah, but I think overall, really, really good job. Maybe, yeah, we're running a bit out of time. Maybe you can have one from like doing an IGT scenario. Anyone? Yeah, I saw BT Traveler also did that. Would you like to share?
V Traveler. Okay, sure.
Oh, BT Traveler. Okay.
I shall share my screen then. All right, cool. So yeah, we're from V Traveler, and we chose Traveloka to be our the company that we want to engage. So the first thing for the IGT, for the IGT scenario, they want to have a trial with one talent first before signing a full contract. So we had a discussion with our team. Basically, we want to try to first, what we will do is we want to try to understand what are the possible causes and concerns, as well as what are their expectations towards the talent. So some of the possible concerns that we thought was like maybe they don't have a big budget, and or also maybe familiarity in global talent product, and they're also not sure about the quality of talent that we can provide, or GT is actually suitable for their company, if it's something that they want to that would bring benefit to them. So what we can do, since since they want to have trial first, we can actually provide the reassurance that, because we actually have a clause in our contract that states that if within 3 months the talent actually won't be performing up to the company's expectation, we will be able to provide them with another talent. So that would be a way to provide them the reassurance, and as well as showcase testimonials from past partners, so they would understand like what kind of talents that we have successfully sourced in the past before, and how did our past partners think about those talents. So sharing the data and also the success stories. And also another idea is like, maybe if we do a trial, right, they probably won't be able to see the impact that this talent brings, but they would probably be able to see the quality. But regardless, we can provide the reassurance. I think it comes back to this with the clause that we have. And if they're not sure about the quality of talent, like apart from showing testimonials, what we can do is also we can showcase CVs of applicants that we've received before on that particular job field that they're looking for. And I think can also like emphasize on the knowledge or like new perspective that international interns can bring to Traveloka. Because for example, if they're looking for a content creator, right, maybe they're not entirely sure what this intern can bring. For example, if they're like from Vietnam, then they can share about Vietnamese perspective on like travel, and they would be more updated to like what's going on in their country, and that could be an asset for Traveloka. So I think that's for the IGTA part.
All right. Thank you so much, Nafis. That's so, I think that's really, really good. I really like how you and your team managed to stand your ground in terms of this negotiation. I think throughout all the different scenarios, it is not something that is too extreme that would never happen when you're approaching with any kind of communications with externals. These are definitely scenarios that have happened before. And when it comes to a situation like this where corporates think that they can push you around, it's really important for you to stand your ground, but at the same time, not be aggressive or anything, but to clearly, I like how you said, like, first understand where they come from. I think you've probably heard like seek first to understand before being understood, something like that. So always do that with any kind of like communications that you have, even with externals. I think that will help you to see like how can you come to a resolution point. All right. So I think we are running out of time, so I don't have any more time to listen to more of your scenarios, but I did manage to go through like each of the groups and also look at their answers on the spreadsheet if you did put it in the spreadsheet. I hope that you have learned something throughout the exercise as well. Please, if not, you can give me a feedback later. I'm open to feedback. Okay. All right. So just as a kind of very simple conclusion to the session today, external communication is not about convincing, but it's about helping to solve a problem that that externals have, by building trust and relationship. So through the scenarios just now, there definitely are a lot of different challenges, a lot of different hurdles that you might have to go through, even from the starting where you are doing this first elevator pitch. So even within those 60 seconds, how do you build trust and how do you build a connection with the person that you're talking to in order to, move the conversation forward? And you do this by being genuine. I don't believe in any kind of like sales tactic or any kind of like cheap tricks or whatever, or over promising, but be genuine. Isaac is that kind of genuine organization where you have to sit down, talk to the partner and understand them, and how both of you can come to create a bigger impact together, right? That's what Isaac is all about. And that should also show in terms of your communications with externals as well. And I wish that I could have shared this blueprint on sales, how to reach your first 100,000 or whatever. But unfortunately, there is no blueprint for that, for any kind of like sales or any kind of partnerships or collaborations. It's really something that you need to go step by step. It's something that you need to experience by yourself, and you do that through trial and error, and you do that through improving your communication. And how do you genuinely communicate what your product is about, what your service is about, and how you can bridge that gap for them. That's what at least like I personally believe what communication and sales and partnership is all about. So yeah, I think that's all. I hope that I gave you some insights. I hope that I helped you a little bit, hopefully. And yeah, thank you for having me. Bye. I miss having
Alright.
physical sessions.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Thanks,
Thank you
Michelle.
so much.
Okay.